Hey there, this is Priya, founder of Virtual Freedom Coaching, and I know you clicked on this video because you're looking for a few tips that will help you bring out your inner leader. So I'm going to talk to you today about your inner leader in the framework of FAST. So you may have heard me speak about the FAST results process in the past. It involves 4 steps. It's focus, awareness, self-mastery, and time mastery. So I'm going to talk about the first 3 today primarily. That's focus, awareness, and self-mastery, and how you can use those 3 steps in the FAST process to help you discover your inner leader. So the first part is really about your focus, and your focus can go really big picture, or you can go into more of a minuscule day-to-day type thing. So the big picture thing, you might start with your big desires. These are your lifestyle freedom goals, whether it's time freedom, money freedom, decision freedom, personal freedom, these big freedom goals. And it might look like travel for you. It may look like an income goal. It may look like more time with family and friends. It may be more time for spirituality. So really looking at those big goals. And then once you start you start to narrow down and look at your business goals. So as a business owner, sorry, I can't speak today. What are those things that you can do within your business to support your bigger freedom lifestyle goals? So you might set a goal. In corporate, we talk about 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. In the coaching industry, again, we might talk a little bit more about your desires, your outcomes. So what are those business goals that you might want to focus on right now? So focus being the operative word. What are the business goals that are going to align with your lifestyle goals? Maybe it's bringing in 20 clients, or filling a program with 40 participants. Maybe you're more on the spiritual side, so the idea of income and bringing in clients doesn't feel so good to you. So you might want to think about how many people can you help and support. So it doesn't really matter how you frame it. You get to frame this the way you like. It's really about your business and what's going to support you, what you're going to feel good about. So how do you frame those goals? So once you've got those business goals, what you do is, this is really, really high level, you're creating a really clear action plan on how you can achieve those business goals. This is where your marketing strategy, your lead gen, your sales strategy, that's where they all come in. Next is really because you're really focused and you created a plan, your plan's going to have specific steps, right? So for example, you've got lead gen and you've got sales. You're probably going to focus on lead gen before you focus on sales. You've got no leads, you've got no one to sell to, right? So it's really keeping a very focused plan and following it in a sort of a logical way. Even if you're spiritual, it just makes sense. You can try it the other way. I'm not going to pressure you to do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. And the reason is, when we do things that feel overly uncomfortable, we tend to sabotage them. So you got to work with what feels good to you. The point is to be focused on one area. So once you've got that focus keeps you from being all over the place. Like, it's really easy when we're in the online world to get sort of distracted by the new coolest marketing technique, the newest way to sell, the something that's gotten somebody a 6-figure sales number in the last month. We hear that sort of, I did X and I made 6 figures in 1 month or 60 days or whatever it is. So it's really easy to get distracted by that. But if you are focused on a business goal and you know what part of that you are going to focus on as a part of your plan, it's really easy to stay focused. So the next step is to really think about, how are you going to show up as a leader? And I'm going to give you 3 things. So these are the 3 that are really going to help you focus on your inner leader, and they're high level, so we can always go deeper with this. But the 3 are, what are the results? So how do you need to lead to get the results? Are you going for a 6-figure goal? Are you going for a 5-figure goal? The way you lead and design your business varies depending on the objectives and goals that you're setting. The next part, does your team get involved? How are you able to bring your team in, inspire them? What can you delegate to your team? And what can your team support you in terms of information? And then the third part is getting really, really curious. So once we've got focus, we've created a plan and we know what part of that plan we're focusing on, We've brought our team in if it's needed. We've asked ourselves that question, does our team need to come into this? Is that going to support me? Then it's really about getting curious and asking the right questions and asking them of your team, asking them of yourself, and reaching out into that Google world, into that world of information, and bringing that in to support your business. So it's really about three parts: knowing your results, defining the support you need from your team, what that's going to look like, who that's going to involve, and being really, really curious in terms of the information you need to bring in to get your results. So that's the focus piece. The next part is awareness. So when we make a really specific goal, a number of things come up. These little tiny limiting beliefs show up. Things like, oh, I'm going to have to be visible. I don't want people to know who I am. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. All those little beliefs start to come in and they creep in and they hold us back. There's also these empowering beliefs that we have in terms of, I know I have the energy to do this. I know I'm going to make this work. I have the education. I have the experience. Whatever it is, there's these empowering beliefs that can support us. So this is really about knowing what you have available to you, and it's that little voice, and it's going to give you messages, and some people might call it your intuition. Excuse me, sorry. It might be your spirituality. There's a little voice that tells you what you're meant to do next. There's our logic that gets us doing things like cleaning our desks to procrastinate. But there's something that's a powerful pull, and to follow that voice. And so you may know, even though you are not a fan of being visible, that's the very next thing you need to do. So it's hearing that voice in alignment with your goals and taking action accordingly. And so that moves us into part 3, which is the self-mastery part. And this is really about taking action on the basis of that voice. It's the forward momentum. If there's no movement, that's not the voice we want to hear. The voice is the one that encourages movement. It's going to sort of advise you to do something. And the do might be a meditation. That might be I'm using this kind of in quotes, it might be a meditation, but that voice tells you what needs to occur next. So we follow that voice and we take action. And so it's really about taking action, then returning to that action plan you created, reviewing your progress, and then looking at your environment and creating an environment where your team is able to support you, and really reflecting back on who you're being, how you're supporting your team, and would you really like to work for you? So do you want to work for somebody who has last-minute requests? And gives you, 10 hours to complete them? Or would you rather work for somebody who gives you a lead time of, say, a week or 2 weeks and really supports you in being able to get things done? So really asking yourself, would you want to work for you? And that's really moving back into the awareness part and then taking action and shifting accordingly. And then finally, I know this is a lot of stuff, and shifting into our leadership, becoming self-aware, involving our team, getting results. All of these things take up a lot of energy. So as a business leader, you may want to get some support, somebody to reflect your ideas off of, someone to experiment with, someone to really discuss what's going on in your business, and to get feedback in terms of what is and is not working so that you can move your business forward. So really, this is about creating your focus, using that little voice to take action, taking that action, and really, if you need it, hiring the support so that you can really figure out what we can't figure out on our own. I mean, I have a coach, and it's really helpful to have somebody to speak to and share your ideas with, who's not really caught up in your business, having somebody who's an objective source to help you figure out your next steps. So really keeping that resource available to you so that you're held accountable and you're feeling comfortable. And when you're feeling comfortable with your leadership, then you can take over. But it's always really nice to have a support on the side. So that's my gift to you. Hope you enjoyed it. Really talking about getting fast results through focus, awareness, self-mastery / action, and time mastery. So I didn't really talk about that, but that's really about how you use your time to support the lifestyle and values that you desire. So that's a really simple thing. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll talk to you again soon. This is Priya from Virtual Freedom Coaching. Bye-bye.